Today, we are going to peel back the iron plating of the Red Planet. We are going to descend into the Noctis Labyrinthus and look at the 10 most insane, terrifying, and critical facts about Mars in Warhammer 40k. This is the truth about the machine god. Let us begin with the biggest secret of all. The foundation of the Martian faith. The tech priests worship the machine god, also known as the Omnissiah, believing it to be the divine force behind all knowledge. But fact number 1 is this: the god living inside Mars is actually a star-eating alien vampire. Deep beneath the surface, in a region known as the Noctis Labyrinthus, lies an entity of unimaginable power. This is the Void Dragon, or Magladroth. It is a Cetan, one of the star gods of the Necrons. These beings existed before the Eldar, before chaos, before humanity crawled out of the ocean. They fed on stars and enslaved entire species. During the ancient war in heaven, the Void Dragon was the master of the material universe's machines. It could control technology with a thought. When the Necrons shattered their gods, a massive shard of the dragon survived. And where is it now? It isn't dead. It is sleeping. Right under the feet of the High Fabricator. The Adeptus Mechanicus, who hate all Xenos, are unknowingly squatting on top of the ultimate Xenos entity. The buzzing in their minds? The inspiration for their inventions? That isn't divinity. It is the dreams of a captive monster leaking into their hard drives. This brings us to fact number 2, the Emperor's long con. You might ask, how did a Cetan shard get to Mars? It didn't crash. It was put there. Ancient Terran legends speak of a knight fighting a dragon. In the lore of Warhammer 40k, this was the Emperor himself, millennia before the Great Crusade, likely during Earth's Middle Ages. He fought the shard of the Void Dragon, defeated it, and bound it in captivity. But he didn't destroy it. The Emperor, with his foresight, knew that one day humanity would need weapons to conquer the galaxy. He knew he would need a culture obsessed with preserving technology. So, he took this defeated star god and secretly transported it to Mars. He imprisoned it there to act as a psychic beacon. Over thousands of years, the dragon's passive influence seeped into the minds of the Martian colonists. It made them obsessive, cold, and logical. It made them worship the machine. The Emperor literally engineered the culture of the Mechanicus by planting a sleeping god in their backyard. He created the perfect weapons factory 20,000 years before he needed it. Let's move from the core to the sky. Fact number 3, the Ring of Iron. When you look at Mars from space, you don't just see a planet. You see a halo. The Ring of Iron is the single largest man-made structure in the Imperium. It is a continuous, artificial ring that circles the entire equator of the planet. This isn't just a wall, it's a continent floating in the void. The ring contains the primary shipyards of the Imperium. This is where the mighty Lunar-class cruisers and the Emperor-class battleships are born. The rocky surface of Mars is mostly for ground forces, titans, and tanks. But the ring? The ring is for the void. The scale is impossible to comprehend. The Ring of Iron has its own gravity, its own atmosphere, and its own population. There are billions of workers, servitors, and tech priests who are born, live, and die within the ring, never once setting foot on the planet below. During the Horus Heresy, the Ring of Iron was the site of the most brutal void war in history, raining burning debris down onto the planet for years. Fact number 4, Mars used to be green. We know Mars today as a radioactive, red wasteland. But during the dark age of technology, humanity didn't just colonize Mars, they fixed it. They terraformed it completely. Records suggest that Mars once had flowing oceans, green forests, and a breathable atmosphere. It was the jewel of humanity's expansion. But the tragedy of Mars is that it wasn't destroyed by aliens. It was destroyed by us. During the Age of Strife, when human civilization collapsed, Mars fell into civil war. The different forges nuked each other. They used biological weapons and forbidden tech. but the final nail in the coffin was the schism of Mars during the Horus Heresy. The traitor forces unleashed such devastation that the fragile atmosphere was stripped away a second time. The red dust you see in 40K art? That isn't natural iron oxide. That is the fallout of thousands of years of nuclear hate. They murdered their own planet. The Mechanicus has complete control over their solar system. Fact number 5 proves this: the Deimos transfer. Mars has 2 moons, Phobos and Deimos. But if you look at a star map in the 41st millennium, Deimos is gone. It isn't orbiting Mars anymore. Why? Because they gave it away. When the Grey Knights, the secretive demon hunters, were founded, they needed a secure forge world to build their Nemesis Force weapons and psychic armor. The Fabricator General of Mars signed a treaty with Malkador the Sigillite. They didn't just send supplies to the Grey Knights. They used colossal gravity weathers and engine arrays to physically tow the moon Deimos out of Martian orbit. They dragged it across the solar system and placed it into orbit around Titan, Saturn's moon. Deimos is now the private forge of the Grey Knights, disappeared from all records. It shows the sheer arrogance of Mars. Celestial bodies are just furniture to be rearranged when they need more desk space. Now we must descend into the darkness again. Fact number 6, the vaults of Moravec. Mars is honeycombed with vaults, sealed tight with adamantium doors and genetic locks. The most infamous of these are the vaults of Moravec, located deep beneath the Olympus Mons. These vaults were sealed by the Fabricator General at the command of the Emperor himself. Why? Because they contain technology from the very end of the Dark Age. Specifically, machines that had begun to experiment with the warp. We are talking about technology that fuses demon flesh with steel. During the Horus Heresy, the traitor Fabricator General Kelbahal cracked these vaults open. He unleashed the Kaban machine and other horrors that possessed their own artificial intelligence and demonic hunger. The contents of these vaults are the reason why the Mechanicus is so afraid of innovation. They know what is hiding in the basement. Fact number 7, the scrap code pandemic. You might think computer viruses are annoying. On Mars, they are lethal. During the heresy, the traitors unleashed a weaponized digital virus known as scrap code. This wasn't just malware. It was a chaotic infection that defied the laws of physics. It didn't just crash computers, it corrupted the machine spirits within them. When the scrap code hit Mars, assembly lines began to scream in human voices. Tanks turned their guns on their creators. Servitors went berserk and began eating the tech priests. Even 10,000 years later, the damage is not fully repaired. There are vast sectors of the Red Planet that are quarantined simply because the datasphere there is haunted. Any ship that docks with Mars has to undergo rigorous spiritual cleansing, because if scrap code gets into the system, the ship itself might try to kill you. Fact number 8, the Fabricator General is the size of a building. The ruler of Mars is the Fabricator General. In the current timeline, his name is Udia Raskian. But if you expect a human in a robe, you are mistaken. The High Lords of Terror are mostly human. But the Fabricator General is more machine than man. He has been modified so extensively that he is essentially a small building. He moves on massive treads and antigrave suspensors. When the High Lords meet on Terra, they have to use a special chamber because Raskian literally cannot fit through the doors of the Imperial Palace. He has to plug himself into the room to communicate. He represents the ultimate goal of the Mechanicus, the total removal of the weak flesh, replaced by the cold certainty of steel. Fact number 9, the death of innocence. We often talk about the drop site massacre as the start of the heresy. But on Mars, the war began with a single moment known as the death of innocence. Mars was a world of perfect synchronization. Billions of machines and priests linked by the noosphere, a wireless psychic internet. When the traitor Kelbahal sent the kill code, it was instantaneous. In a single second, millions of loyalist tech priests simply dropped dead as their cybernetics shut down. Reactors went critical. maglev trains derailed into cities. The harmony of Mars was shattered in a heartbeat. It remains one of the greatest tragedies in Imperial history, a moment where the planet of logic was consumed by the insanity of chaos. And finally, fact number 10, the Noctis Labyrinthus is real. For those of you watching who love lore but also love astronomy, here is a bonus fact. The Noctis Labyrinthus is not just a made-up name for Warhammer 40k. It is a real geographic feature on the actual planet Mars. It is located in the Tharsis region, known as the Labyrinth of Night. It is a complex system of steep-walled valleys and canyons. Games Workshop writers took a real location on our current maps and decided that this fractured, mysterious landscape was the perfect hiding spot for a star god. So, when you look at pictures of Mars from NASA, and you see that scarred region of canyons, remember, in the grim darkness of the far future, that is where the dragon sleeps. Mars is more than just a forge. It is a tomb, a prison, and a weapon. It is the only thing standing between the Imperium and total annihilation. But as the Void Dragon stirs in its sleep, and the scrap code festers in the databanks, we have to ask ourselves, is Mars the Imperium's greatest strength, or its ultimate undoing? This has been 10 insane facts about Warhammer 40k Mars. The Emperor protects,